So this is Trigonometry. This is 2026 mock paper 2, and this is a question from it, section A, question 6, and starts off by saying find the value of x in the right angle triangle or ST. Now you put in your answer in here, but just for space and that, I'll do it up here. So I suppose there's two different ways of doing this. There is the clever way to do it, and there's the long way to do it. Long way, first of all, very quickly here. So long way would be that you know that the three angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So you'd be saying 3x plus 2x plus 90 degrees is equal to 180, because the angle sum in a triangle is 180. Then when you tidy this up, you get 5x plus 90 is equal to 180. Then you go take away 90, you're left with 5x, take away 90, you're left with 90. Divide by 5, divide by 5. There is your answer finished. It said find the value x. So that is the long way. I suppose the clever way, you already know that 90 is accounted for in this triangle, and you'd be kind of hopefully be able to do this in your head, but you'd be saying 180 minus 90, you have 90 left over that has to be shared between the 3x and the 2x. So you're kind of saying, well, 3x plus 2x is equal to 90. That's 5x is equal to 90, so divide by 5, x has to be 18. Now you're not asked for it, but if you need to know for part B actually. Part B, your new updated triangle here now becomes, so that's 90. 2x is 2 by 18, which is 36 degrees, so that fella goes down there. And 3x is going to be 3 by 18 there, so no way that jumped down so low. So 3 by 18 there is 54 degrees. So that's that fella up there. So there's that triangle again. 3x up there, 3 by 18 is 54, and 2x down here, 2 by 18 is 36. So updating that triangle now, we've got 20 centimeters here on the bottom, or here, and we are now asked in part 2, so this is R up here, and there's S, and there's T, and we're asked to find the value of RS to the nearest centimetre. So we're asked to find the value of RS to the nearest centimetre. So to do that, let me see if I can just drag this back up here a bit. No, we can't. So to do that, right, so this is a trigonometric ratio question. So in this trigonometric ratio question, and I know that because you've only two things you can do with the right angle triangle. You can either use Pythagoras, where you know two sides and you find the third. We can't do that here, we've only one side. So it has to be trigonometric ratios. Now to do this, what I'm going to do here, you always start by labeling the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse here is always across from the right angle, right? It's always across from the right angle. So I'm just going to get rid of it there now because we've spotted that, but it's always across from the right angle. Then you identify the opposite side next. Now you have a choice here. You either pick the 54 as your reference angle or the 36 as your reference angle. So to make this easier, I'm going to pick the 36. I had a choice. I could have picked the 54. I've gone with the 36. So that's my reference angle. So the side that's opposite that is over here. The opposite side, and then the one that's left over is the adjacent, and where are we going? Just in black there, the adjacent down here. He has no choice. So silly old Harry caught a herring trawling off Ackle. Okay, and I should label this side. I'm going to let RS here equal x to make it a bit easier to work it out. So I'm just going to label that x. Now, which one of these has absolutely no information? So hopefully you can spot there that the adjacent has no information. So because he has no info, like we already have one unknown that we're trying to find, we can't use another unknown, or we definitely won't be able to figure it out. So bye-bye to anything with the adjacent in it. There's the adjacent. Cosine is equal to adjacent. Cos of the angle is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So bye-bye. And there's the adjacent again. Tan of the angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. Bye-bye. So two of them are gone. And now what we do is we're going to let the examiner know exactly what we're doing here. So we're going to write down the angle, sine of the angle. You get no marks for writing them down, by the way. That's only helping you work this out. Sine of the angle is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent. And in our case here, now working this out, so our angle is 36 degrees is equal to the opposite side. So you see there our angle is 36. The opposite side is x over the hypotenuse. I should be writing in there. No, I wrote down the adjacent. So hypotenuse there, but the opposite side. So silly old Harry, sine of the angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Where do they come from again? S, matching up with him. The O for the opposite, and the H for the hypotenuse there. Okay, so looking, yeah, it does now. So the opposite is x, the hypotenuse is 20, and now we can work this out. So I've got a fraction over there on the right hand side. I'm going to kill that fraction. So eliminate that fraction by multiplying by the denominator, which is 20. I do that and I get left with the bit that's on top, which is the x. But if I multiply one side by 20, to balance this out, I must multiply the other side. Now I'm putting this in dotted form because this wasn't the lead one. Because I multiplied this side by 20, I'm also multiplying this side by 20. So in my calculator now, I'm going to go 20 multiplied by sine of 36. So in the calculator there, let's bring it up. 20 multiplied by sine of 36. Press equals, and we get 11.755. Now we have to give our answer correct to the nearest centimetre. So correct to the nearest centimetre. Find the place you're going to round. Sorry, it's making me mark there. So we'd what? We'd 11.755 ... I'd let the examiner know that. And now rounding it. So just make sure that that's the right answer. 11.755, yeah. I'm rounding that. So what we do here is we find the place we're going to round. So the nearest whole number, here's the last part of the whole number. Look at the digit on the right. So our answer is going to be 11 or 12. 11 or 12. This fella is going to decide it here. 5 to 9, climb the vine, and we are climbing the vine, so we've got 12 centimetres. Moving on to part B there. Part B, a ship is sailing towards a lighthouse, L, and what I might do is I might do this in the second video because my area for recording this is a bit too small. See you in the next video to do this.